welcome to this regular executive mansion press briefing.
You can
Comes
hear
from
me?
every
Yes,
Friday
ma'am.
Is it okay?
2 p.m. for
Yes.
executive mansion.
Yeah, it's okay. Can I
President
hold it
Press
in chest
Secretary.
because it's
No,
gonna
I think
blind
it's
my
okay like
vision.
that.
Yeah, I don't want
Madam
it in my
President and
mouth
Press
like this.
Secretary, Madam Kola
Is it
Fofana.
okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it this way. Is it okay?
Yes.
Testing. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. The radio people are getting me clearly. Okay, wonderful.
So we're now joining President Press
Distinguished
Secretary.
ladies and
Briefs us
gentlemen of
on
the
our
press,
appearance here
I'd like
at
to
the executive
welcome you
mansion
to this
and the
weekly
Liberian
press
President.
briefing. And we are here at the Executive Mansion. Welcome again because when we started this initiative of briefing the public, informing the public on happenings of the Executive Mansion, we were consistent in the days. And even 2 weeks, we have not had our regular press briefing. And as you may know, the previous Friday, it was the time we went to Cote d'Ivoire for a meeting with His Excellency and the President of Cote d'Ivoire. And then it was on that Friday that we returned, and the President was able to speak to you all journalists. And we couldn't hold our regular press briefing at that time. And last week, Friday, you all know it was a national holiday. And on holidays, of course, there will be no need for you to come here. You need time out with the family. So we are reconnecting based on the breaking that we have had. So welcome again, and like we started a tradition, we hope we can continue. We will normally invite journalists from across the country. The last time we've had someone from Bomi, we've had someone from Margibi, and this time we got somebody from Cape Mount who want to recognize Radio Piso, who's represented by Mr. Jenkins Mabandi. Welcome to the Executive Mansion, and welcome to our regular press briefing. And let me continue by saying to our Muslim brothers and sisters, Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Muslim community started over the month of Ramadan. And His Excellency, our President, did give a message to the community through a video message, wishing the Muslims a very peaceful, prayerful Ramadan. And I want to add my voice and in my own name as a fellow Muslim to say, may Allah give us the blessings of this holy month, and as we all pray for this country, for the betterment of our country. So His Excellency is very happy and wants to again extend such a felicitation and blessings to all of our Muslim brothers and sisters observing this holy month. Please continue to pray for the country and pray for the success of His Excellency and the government of Liberia. We are coming out of a busy, very busy week. And as you know, we also today just had a commissioning ceremony. His Excellency commissioned additional officials who have been confirmed by the Liberian Senate. There were heads of agencies, ministers, as well as deputy ministers who were commissioned earlier today, right here at the Executive Mansion in Palo. And during that ceremony, His Excellency they informed the commission, the officers to really take seriously his vision for the country, and he has invited them to see, and implement their rest agenda in the best interest of the Liberian people. His Excellency also have had several meetings with the diplomatic community, with different people, different institutions with interest in helping to support our government's agenda. One of the key meetings highlighted is the meeting with the United Nations in Liberia, particularly the head of the United Nations, that is the resident coordinator. That meeting happened earlier this week, and the United Nations did extend their support, did extend their willingness as they've done. They continue to be here, continue to support the country's progress of peace. And interestingly, they also are very happy with the progress we've made so far on the line of sustaining and maintaining democracy, particularly with the conduct of our elections and the peaceful transfer of power. We're very happy, His Excellency was very happy, and said that those sentiments and comments are in the best interest of our country. Going further, His Excellency visits to Cote d'Ivoire, just to reiterate, because when he came, he also mentioned some of the meetings and engagement that was held, but just to remind the public, in Cote d'Ivoire, there were three key essence of the meeting. One area was on agriculture, electricity, and security. As you all know, the region currently is a little challenged with the current wave of threats in other countries within the West African region. So security was top of the agenda. Electricity, we all know Liberia is challenged. One of our key issues on electricity, and electricity is also part of the president's agenda, very high priority area. His Excellency is looking forward to working with all stakeholders to make sure we are able to solve the problem of electricity. Agriculture, the arrest agenda stems from the agriculture, the A within the arrest agenda is on agriculture, particularly on the issue of food sustainability, because food for His Excellency is just beyond just being the food, but it's also a security commodity. So the essence of for us being food sufficient is very important. It's high on the president's agenda. Talking about, we also the issue of different executive orders that His Excellency have been able to put into action. Talking about energy, coming from Cote d'Ivoire, just yesterday actually, His Excellency had very important high-level energy sector roundtable with key partners in the energy sector. You had the different missions here. You had LEC, the Liberia Electricity Corporation, as well as a representative from the Ministry of Mines and Energy, particularly the Minister's delegation, as well as the Rural Renewable Electricity Energy, Agency, who both they and the Liberia Electricity Corporation work us through on the challenges of our electricity portion and what we need to elevate and implement key projects to soften the challenges that we have within the sector. And the president is very happy about the roadmap, about the road which his team is taking, and he's also charged them to make sure that they are able to give him briefing almost every week about the current status and where we are, what the challenges are, and how they are bringing solutions to solving those problems. And he is very clear on that, and he's very excited so far on those plans. And his main thing is to ensure that it's achievable. The 100-day deliverable, he's been briefed that they're on course. Works are ongoing, especially particularly with the Ministry of Public Works. He was briefed by the Ministry of Public Works, the minister particularly, about the current nature and the startup point where they're going to begin, particularly the beginning with LOFA, where they've set up some different, some of the, in the goal of this particular portion of what he talked about on the aspect of road. During the rainy season, there are major spots that are impassable for vehicles. So the plan of the 100 is to ensure that those key spots are worked on and they're active, work going on during the course of the rainy season. Um, so one of the other things again I will talk about is asset recovery. So the president has given the charge of the asset recovery team to elevate them, activate them, make them work very hard to bring back the assets that former officials of government that assets belonging to the government that they've taken. And the team reported to the president that they are working very hard and there are plans in which they intend to undertake on making sure that those things happen. Because across government, there are challenges and there is a need because our president, he expressed a sentiment that it's not every time a new government comes in, you will want to buy new assets, new vehicles, for example, new computers, new everything. It's costly. And the president is very concerned. So he's interested in knowing that when you serve public service, when you're leaving, you leave what you were given and let the other people come and utilize it for the interest of the Liberian people. So far, thank you all so much, and I'm very happy to take some of your questions as we continue our conversation around the workings of the president, particularly His Excellency, our President Joseph Boakai.
Madam Kula
Thank you.
Fofana,
I look
the
forward to taking questions.
Presidential Press Secretary, and we're
Call
coming
your
to you
name,
live.
your institution you represent, and please, the ladies, we want you all to be here. Let me just recognize the presence of the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, Mr. Anthony Kessel. Is here and he's been confirmed. He's already confirmed he's our Deputy Minister for Public Affairs. Thank you, Mr. Kessel, for joining. Yes.
She's the Presidential Press Secretary, coming to you live online on the e-mansion
Thank you so much,
platform.
Madam Press Secretary.
Emmanuel
My name
Kipper.
is Moses Pakulo, and I report for the University of Liberia Radio. Two questions I have. The President, in his statement today, said that if we work hard, in less than 3 weeks, we will see that's $5 billion railroad from Guinea to the port of the Ghana. I'm concerned as to whether he was speaking in relation to the HPX deal, if that is it, how far we've come to the point that in about less than 3 weeks we're going to see our investment. Another one has to do with the president's visit to Cote d'Ivoire. He did tell the people of Liberia that Cote d'Ivoire has agreed to restore power and even increase the megawatt they're giving us. I want to know to what point was that commitment made that the heads of the legislative corporation and the regulatory authority in their appearance to the Senate said that Cote d'Ivoire, through the energy sector, CIA Energy, they're not going to give us the electricity because the government owes it. So at what point was that commitment made to the president that we still cannot see the electricity coming to Liberia, that we owe the people and they have to, if we can't pay them, they will not be able to give us the electricity.
And the program is the regular press briefing. And first question from the University of Liberia Radio. But yes, we're online, live on the e-mansion platform.
Yes.
And let's see who comes up with the next question. And
thank you very much. My name is Matthew Jacobs.
Please speak louder, please.
So thank you very much. My name is Matthew Jacobs. I will report for the 45 City TV. So my concern has
Report for
45 City TV.
45 City.
Yeah, 45 City TV.
45 City.
45.
Oh, 45.
45.
Ah, okay. I thought you meant 45. Oh, 40. Oh, I understand. 45. How fortified are you? Go ahead.
So what happened is I had a two concerns, and one has to do with the president. In most of comments you were mentioned about asset declaration and other things, and he has not yet. The public has not yet known his own asset report, let's say declaration. The only when he presented, but they don't know how much he has and whatsoever. The public still had that intact. And the other one has to do with even though you may not be in a category or in a particular sector of the central bank, but this is an issue that the Liberians are faced with. Considerable maintaining having to be the deadline for the old money, I can say that. So people still having concern on that particular issue. So as a press secretary, do you have anything to say? on a particular period.
The questions will continue. Madam
Madam Press
Fofana
Secretary, my name
will
is
be
Anthony Tifa
taking
for ABC
notes.
Radio. Still, Liberians are still looking and listening for the investigative report from the Armed Forces of Liberia Wives protest. The President said on that committee. The next question is, where are we with the committee set up by the President on the excuse me, on the issue of 10 new positions? Have they reported to the President? What is the status? Thank you.
We live online, Executive Mansion online platform.
Thank you very much.
Press conference
My name is
continues.
Jenkins Mane and I work for Radio PCD where I was sport Cricket Mankand and I also report for 2FN in Kitmo. Thank you for the opportunity and let me also say thanks to my colleagues for their acceptance here. But the issue, my question has to do with the President 100-day deliverables that you earlier talked about. And to your explanation, I already talked about when we started in Lofa County. If the public may know, the 100-day deliverable is it restricted to a particular county or the entire country going to feel it? But if so, what are priority areas that are going to be considered in the 100 days?
Who comes up next? Let's see.
Thank you, Madam Press Secretary. My name is Joseph Daniels, and I report for OKFM. And congratulations to the government, which turns 2 months today. Um, I am concerned about the appointments being made by government. Yesterday morning, a list of appointees was placed on the website and Facebook page of the executive mansion. I can clearly recall that there were appointments made at the Ministry of National Defense affecting the deputy minister position and others we don't want to call, but up to now, that particular release was edited and it does not reflect on the executive mansion Facebook page, and there was no notice as to why. So could you please tell us?
And
All right.
we continue. She will
Thank you all very much for
take
those
the
very
first
important questions.
batch of
I'll
questions.
start by the first question from Lutz. So you probably may have misheard, what the president said. But the president mentioned of the 5 billion that was talked about in 3 weeks was definitely the HPS conversation. The 3 weeks mentioned was the beginning of the administration. So during the first 3 weeks of the administration, that was when the conversation with HPS, even the agreement that was talked about, the feasibility conversation is currently still ongoing and what have been done. Trust me, there has been a lot of progress made so far. There was a meeting held in South Africa with our team from here going there. So in all of those meetings have discussion happening behind the scenes. As soon as we get to a point where the public is informed on the actual beginning or the specifics of what's going to happen, you will all be informed about it. And one of the things we continuously and consistently have said here is that we do intend to be very open and very transparent with information as we have them and to provide them to you all and to let the public know the workings of the president, particularly our role here as public affairs and also the office of the press secretary. Talking about Cote d'Ivoire, what was agreed upon. So if you do a backstory, you will know that Cote d'Ivoire have always supported Liberia, and both countries have sisterly relationships. And particularly in the electricity sector, and that you should also know that the CSLG lines is also hosted or supported via Ivory Coast. During the visit to Ivory Coast, there was a visitation by the president to the regional office, and there was a very beautiful presentation made by the team there. So talking about that in terms of the commitment that was made, what I can say, yes, Ivory Coast did agree to support the president, particularly agreed to with the addition of 25, kilowatts of electricity. Currently, what is being received is the same 25, so they agreed to, add it up, to that. With the reference to what the minister said or the people said at the legislature, I can't speak to that because I wasn't. I'm just hearing that from you. To fortify TV, your question on March 30th on the money, the bank notes situation. I think it would be good that you follow up with the Central Bank of Liberia. They have a very good communication team there, and I'm sure they'll be willing to give you more details on the issue of the bank note, its expiration, and what their plans are. But if they bring that to the president's attention and it is briefed on that, I will definitely let all of you know. In terms of assets declaration, I've said here countlessly that the president is very serious about accountability. That's why he puts premium on the team that he has selected for the assets declaration and property retrieval task force so that they're able to work to ensure that people who served government previously are able to restitute or return things that they have that belong to government. In terms of his public declaration, he's done the declaration, he's gone to the LACC and declared his asset. In terms of making those papers public, it's something that he will do. And like I said, definitely. Right now, to be honest, the president is really full of many things. As we speak, he just left here. He's there trying to have different meetings and talk about it. Once he gave us the go ahead to make those documentation public, you all will be informed. On updates of the armed forces fight, we've said here on numerous occasions that the security issue, in fact, one thing I didn't say, and I was thinking whether it's because of security, but one of the things that this president has done just this week, he had his first National Security Council meeting. And that National Security Council meeting brought together all of the government stakeholders in the security sector. And security is a top agenda. And after that meeting, the Justice Minister was able to brief the media on the discussion, especially those discussions that are declassified. As you know, majority of security work, they're all classified, except those that need to be given to the public are normally given to the public. So he puts premium on security. So talking about the armed forces, why is that? The investigation at that time is still ongoing. However, in fact, even here in the comment today, you listen to when we talk, there's concern about the condition of the military, the condition of the army people, the condition of the barracks when he was commissioning the chief of staff of the army. And he talked about those, and he has put on very high level team who continuously briefing him on the current state. So, like I said in our last conversation, was that their problems have been solved in terms of restoration of electricity, also in terms of the condition. In fact, we did see that they're working around finding a means to work on the housing situation there, and also to ensure that some of the things that they talk about, because they're short term, long term, and medium term, and they're working on the short term, the long term, and medium term. But I can say the process is ongoing. And by the time that investigation is completed, you all will be informed. On the question of turning, right now I'm sure you are aware that continue the court, some of the people who were put on those issues, especially those who were appointed, those who were currently or who were in those positions, some of them went to court, and the courts are rating, those institutions, call for conferences. I do know the president has been briefed on the situation of EPA, for example, and that is an active ongoing conversation. There are conferences that have been set up by the courts, and the president, as he always said, respects the rule of law. And he's giving the opportunity to the judiciary so they're able to continue their process at the time of the concluding part. His team consistently have briefed him on the progress so far in those cases. Talking about the 100-day deliverable, and again, welcome from all the way there, Cape Mount. We hope we can do this regularly as time goes by, so we can bring journalists from all this deliverable. So the president has been briefed, and it's not going to be just one place. It's all across the country. Because we mentioned road, because road, he did say, he continues to say that he wants to make sure within the first 100 days that there are not going to be cars that will be stopped. Because, it's very short. With roads, roads are tied to access to healthcare. Roads are tied to transportation. Anything around roads, moving from one point to the other, if the people can't get medicine to where it's supposed to be because the road is poorly, is very poor, it's not in good condition, they're going to cause some casualties. So, and there are lots of issues relating to that. And he puts a very high level of interest in that. He wants to make sure that key spots during the rain season, there are places in this country during the rain season, it's very difficult for cars to move, even people. So, and things, commerce, they impact commerce, they impact communications in a lot of different areas. So, if you can't get to the other places, it makes food very expensive. It makes everything, commodities, basic services very expensive. So that is why that and these hotspots, these spots that have major challenges during the rain season, the Ministry of Public Works is currently working. The Ministry of Public Works briefed the president that they are working along with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that funding are secure and do all the different things necessary because right now a lot of things are going on. We seeing the rain will soon be here, The preliminary work, all major works, finding the contractors, people have been spoken with, they're ready, they've done the plans, all the plans are cleared now. What's needed now is to just get the weather to move in because when the rain comes, it's going to be much difficult. On the issue of appointment made, on the issue of appointment, I've said this and I like to be very clear. Appointments are the prerogative of the president. He makes appointment, he decides who he wants to serve, and he decides who he doesn't want to serve. When the appointments are made, they go on the executive mansion website. The executive mansion website is the primary source for information from the executive. Facebook page and other pages are all supplementing the executive mansion website. So information that you see, especially when it comes to the appointment, specifically those were instructions or the appointment made. And one of the things I would like to re-emphasize in this briefing today is that, as you all know, there are 4 stages of appointment, especially when it comes to appointment that requires Senate confirmation per the Constitution. One is that you are nominated by the president. 2, you are confirmed by the Senate. 3, you are appointed by the president. And 4, you are commissioned by the president. One of which happened today, the commissioning ceremony that some of you were here to witness. So none within that talks about the announcement. I see and I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, Uncle, I want need to be announced," which is important. Announcements are important. You give notice to the public that these things are happening, and the president has made this announcement or made this appointment. However, specifically, those are the procedure in which one is selected, and especially those who are going to be who are supposed to go through Senate, because there are some positions that do not require Senate confirmation. So for those ones, the president appoints you, and in most instances, you see they'll tell you these appointments take immediate effect. So I just wanted to make that clarification that announcement is a part of the awareness. It's a necessary process so people can be aware, but it's not one of the full parts that determines whether this person is not appointed or is appointed. Once that procedure is followed, the person can be seen as an appointee, or someone who the president has given the authorization to work with him in his government. So we'll take the final line of questioning and we'll call this press conference.
And if you just join us,
Why the female?
welcome.
I've been asking y'all for the women. You come to these press conferences. We need to see our sisters. I think I need to meet some of your opponents. Where's Fasha? Yeah, where are you guys? I mean, you don't be doing these things, man. You come to this press
Madam
conference.
Fofana is the presidential press secretary.
You know, where are they? Y'all
Of
come
course,
to us, man. Y'all come, don't let these gentlemen be bullying you around here.
she's on top of the press briefing right here. And if you just join us on
No,
the
but
manual
this
keeper,
is something, in fact, I'm intending to have a meeting with the female. I'm also intending to have a meeting with the FIJA, the Female Journalists Association. I'm intending to have a meeting with your bosses to let them see some of your faces. I can't see your other faces and I want to see some women. No, but this is just a fun part of it. But it's important to encourage, female journalists to come, those that are assigned here, obviously, and those who wanting to be assigned to the executive mansion. We are sending the next group of requests I see. And this is a PSA to the different media institutions who will be sending the reporters. Please find the female and send them, because when I see you putting John Brand in there, I'll tell you, say, fan of female here. I mean, it's just a way to encourage our sisters, the young ladies in the media to really, come to these institutions and do their best. Yes.
updating the media.
I'm Joseph Daniels again. I think my question was whether the nominations were withdrawn or did they stand. But I don't think you answered that question.
All right.
So I would like you to please do that when you answer the second question.
Right. Okay, let me note that and then we'll
Okay. So the draft national budget was submitted recently to the House of Representatives, and they coincided with their break, and they are also on break. Is the president thinking about recalling them? Because I think, if I'm correct, it's supposed to return by May, so we have the entire April until. Will the president call them back in order to consider the draft budget passed?
And the questions.
Okay, my name is
Continue.
Pastor Talu.
Fashta Talu. LBS.
So, like during the Thursday's regular press briefing, the chairperson of the Asset Retrieval Task Force, Councillor Edwin Clamanti, gave like a 10-day ultimatum to former government officials that illegally or allegedly took some government properties. And he also did talk about the budget that is 1 point something million to kickstart the process. So looking at the financial implication, so if this money isn't given, will the tax force function? That's my question.
LBS Fashta Talu. And who goes next?
My name is Mark Abdullah from TKW. Addition to Sister question, on Tuesday, former Mayor Rogan Jefferson Cody raised a concern that no member of the CDC will succumb to any worker outside the provincial team. Also, failure to those who be found in possession of government property and denying or maybe refusing to the delivery. What is the penalty line for that? Are they penalty line for them as well? Two, there's the issue of BMC, that is the BMIT company in Joe. I've been very concerned. The president also concerned about the back-to-back argument or debate about the value of politics against Liberian debt. The president concerned. And another issue, the president concerned about the current exchange rate in the Liberian market in terms of go this way, you see 1 day, you come this way, you see 1 day, you come this way, you see 1 day. The president concerned about this thing as well.
Questions. And Madam.
Thank you.
Fofana.
This is Bakule again from Those FM. I listened to the information Minister during the meeting, and this is how to talk about him. In relation to the ex-president's request about the a number of EPS officers that he allegedly requested. And President was not to say there's no law to that effect, but the presidents have been able to determine which number of EPS to be assigned to former presidents. If that is the case, the former president has made a request. Um, is the president willing to beef up the security of the former president, according to Liberia's assertion that there is no law surrounding what number of EPS officers to be assigned to a former president or vice president or those that are entitled to EPS officers.
Questions? But this
Anthony
is
Jeffan for ABC Radio.
in progress.
So, addition to Moses' question, the former President George Weah, according to the government, quoting the Minister of Information, rejected 8 of the 15 officers assigned to him on grounds that he don't know them. He is the president because assigning EPS officer to president or former president or whoever is the prerogative of the president. Is the president thinking about replacing those 8 persons? That's a question. Then, since the issue of security investigation has nothing to do with the public, why would the president set up a committee when the issue of the AFL wives was a very critical issue? In fact, it still remains a very critical issue to Liberia concern. Thank you.
Can you repeat the part that you say that it's not a security concern? I didn't understand the question.
So the question I asked was, what's the
You
status
said,
of
no. I just want to know that specifically you just said.
Yes, so I said, since indeed it is not a concern to the public, because it's a serious security matter, why set up a committee? Thank you.
Imagine online platform.
Okay. All right. Thank you all
Press briefing.
very much on that. I'll start with the last one. Nobody did say that security issues are not important or they're now concerned to the public. I mean, I think that's misquoting. This is not what we said. What we said was there's security investigation that continues, and at the conclusion of the investigation, you'll be informed. And I did inform you about all the different progress that have been made so far with the restoration of electricity. And we've said this in previous press briefing that the president has already made situation free, because that was one of the concerns of the FL women. He's made the school school there that is in the barracks free of charge in terms of people who are there that they can go there. In terms of housing, I did say, I remember particularly that we talked about the work that has been done on the issue of housing, that reviews have been made, there are discussions that are going on. So it's like there are progress being made to solve some of the problems, while at the same time the investigation is continuing. So when the investigation concludes, you will have the full report on the what, where, how, when, all the different things that are of public importance. And you should get that clear. Whether or not the president is thinking about all the challenges of the country, I can tell you the president comes to work because of the challenges of the country, and he's very concerned about everything. And it's not just 1, 2, and 3 as you mentioned. And one of the things that we should all know is that the challenges this government inherited from past administration, and that is what the government is doing, consistently working to show that food is affordable, things are affordable, and livelihood. Every time you see the president talk about his concern about the generation, the future of this country, working on the sustenance of electricity. He also mentioned his own story, how he's never left Liberia for a long period when he lived somewhere else. His life has been about Liberia, and he wants to ensure that when he leaves power, he can show we all as Liberians can see that he's done a number of different transformative things that can help, our country put the country on, par with other countries. In terms of BMMC, the Beer Mountain Mining Corporation, the president did set up a committee. The committee have gone there, they've had preliminary meetings. The president also have held meetings. He's called stakeholders in the county. We've had phone conversations with some of the stakeholders to understand the challenges and encourage them to work with the government on solving those problems. The National Investment Commission is also on the team that was set up. The Bureau of Concession is also on the team, and there are discussions on revision of the concession, agreement that the government signed with the company. And there have been a lot of progress made so far. In fact, there was a delegation that went to the county and they talked about that and met with key stakeholders in that. And they're working very very hard on showing that calm is restored and people work on the issue of bad labor practices that he's been briefed on it and he has assured the people of making sure that those things do not happen on his watch. On your issue of Jefferson Kochi's comment, I think on the issue of the former mayor's comment that they wouldn't succumb, I will tell you that the Access Recovery and Property Retrieval Committee have been given a charge to work to restitute, to ensure that people restitute things that do not belong to them. And the president will be looking forward to them to communicate clearly their plans to the public, to communicate what they intend to do and how they intend to do it. Something they started doing already. They held press conference. They were part of the Ministry of Information's press briefing, and they informed the public on what they intend to do. And I will act as a Liberian, and this is not even because of the presidency, but as a Liberian, I was just encouraged. I was also serving in previous government, not the immediate past, but like the government of Madam Shirley as assistant minister. So it's just to encourage all of us to, turn to our properties that does not belong to you. It's just a good mark. It shouldn't. That shouldn't even be a conversation that you should be having with people. I encourage my friends because I do have friends who serve, the former administration. Encourage them just comply with their team, and because at the end of the day, it's about your own integrity. It's about what you can do for your country. This is not even about the administration or even the committees, but it's just about you, what you can contribute, and what you can leave for your country so that the records show that when you serve this period, this time, these are things you did, and this is what you intend to do. That encourage them to follow through with the team. Somebody asked about 10 days. Talk about it. Yeah, again, like I said, the Access Recovery has a full, plan, work with them. They are able to inform the public on how they intend to work on a different thing. I hope I covered on the appointment. Yes, the one that is on the mansion. That is the official appointment. That is the official announcement of the people who were announced, who were appointed by His Excellency. The ones that you saw that in your words that they were removed or kicked back and whatnot. Actually, the situation is that, like I said, the president of the appointment, and the president. So those ones were. I think we've covered everything.
EPS.
EPS.
Whether the president replace.
Oh, okay. Whether the president. So for the EPS situation, I've not been briefed on where those requests have come to the president, whether the president is considering. I can just say that those information is not. I'm not with those information. Once I get them, and the ones that will be public information or declassified, we all will be aware of those. Yes, somebody was saying something.
Yeah, asked about the budget that was submitted and the legislators have gone for break. Is the
Okay, when
president
they will come back. Yeah, those are conversations that are currently taking place. So once the Ministry of Finance team, the Office of the President see the necessity, it will be communicated to. And then similarly, it's part of our government practice because there's a need to have the budget passed, and then so that the country can continue. Because we can't have a country that will be locked without the passage of the budget. So those considerations are taking place behind the scenes. I hope I covered everything. So, again, thank you all. Thanks for the time. I look forward to seeing you here next Friday. Let's continue to engage. The president is very happy, very healthy, very well. He's looking forward to continuing his work. He's continuing his work, and you all will be consistently and continuously informed. Thank you for what we do. Let's build our country together, as it always is. Love Liberia, build Liberia, and think Liberia, whichever way. Thank you all and have a wonderful weekend.
And that's it from the voice of the Presidential Press Secretary, Madam Kula Fofana, right here on the e-mention online platform. And that's it. We'll leave it there for now. For on behalf of the entire team, Kula Fofana, Madam Fofana, the Press Secretary, Lavette Fambule, Joseph Blackie, and the rest of the team. I'm Emmanuel Capert. Thanks a million for viewing. Until we catch you next time.